band, the Spartan Legion band, under the direction of Emery Fears. We're watching them right now as we continue with our halftime activities.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Director's Corner. I'm your host, Eddie Evans. Meet me on the 50. Thanks again for tuning in, y'all. We have a special show tonight. Very, I can't even say the word special, man. I can't even put words into it right here. Let me just read off, man. Just Professor of Music Emeritus, phenomenal saxophonist and clarinetist, recipient of the Kappa Kappa Psi Distinguished Service to Music Medal, the Emery L. Fears Boys Academy, named after him. Norfolk State University Sports Hall of Fame recipient. Director of bands on the high school level at IC Norcom and Manor High School. That's 22 years on the high school level. And then Norfolk State University for 17 years. That's 39 combined years as a band director. We have founder of the Norfolk State Spartan Legion Marching Band, whose traditions created by Mr. Fears are still thriving today in 2020. Innovator, groundbreaker, living legend, and that's just to name a few things right there, man. Tonight we have legendary Mr. Emery L. Fears on the show tonight for the Director's Corner. I can't wait to get into it. For everybody in the comments, thank y'all for getting here early. If the people aren't here yet, you need to spread the word. Get everybody over here. It's going to be a great show tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Y'all know I'm a history buff. I'm a band history buff, and I'm looking forward to this show. I hope you are as well. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and get the man of the hour on. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Emery Fears. How you doing, sir?
Good afternoon. How are you doing? Yes. Fine.
I'm good. Little starstruck. Look, I haven't told you over the last week. I've been starstruck, just working with you because I've heard so much about you, and to finally get to work with you on this project, it means a lot to me. So I do appreciate you for accepting my invitation, and I'm really appreciative, sir. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So how are you doing? I know I spoke to you about a couple hours ago, but how are you doing in general these days?
Well, I'm here. That's at 94 years. That's something to be said. So sometimes I think it's barely here, but I'm here, and I'm glad to be able to talk about bands because I know my people get tired of me talking about bands.
They get tired. They get tired of it.
Even the dog gets tired. I say something about band, the dog leaves. So.
No. What kind of dog do you have?
Yorkie Poo.
Yeah,
He's a Yorkie Poo.
Named Coda.
And his name is Coda.
Like the
CODA.
Like the musical term.
Wow. And if you hear somebody in the background, that's it's Ashley. Ashley Fears.
Ashlyn. That's my daughter.
Ashlyn. Hey, and she's been very instrumental in getting this thing set up. I wanna thank you as well as Mr. Linwood Lyons, man. He is really the one who got this thing set up. If you're watching this, Linwood, thank you so much. You know,
Yeah.
so you said Coda is the dog. You said Yorkie Poo. What color is he?
Gray.
Grayish.
And spelled after the musical term. Coda.
Yeah.
So Ashlyn, come on camera real quick.
Okay. Hello.
So hi, everybody say hi to Ashlyn.
Hi.
So are you a musician as well?
I didn't get the music gene fully, no.
No?
It wasn't passed down to me. I played cello for about 4 years, but that's as much as I did with music.
Cello. Okay, so
Yeah.
did you stick with it?
I did middle school up into high school, so that was my instrument.
It's never too late. It's never too late, right, Mr. Fish?
Yeah. I asked to play the drums, but that was a quick no. So
Everybody wants to
Yeah.
play drums.
Yeah. You take out a lot of frustration on those, man, you know.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, well thank you again for helping us set this up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't have done it without her because I'm not good at this thing.
Nah, you got it down. You got it down very quickly, sir. I sent you
But she got it down very quickly.
a...
My generation doesn't know anything about this.
So I do want to get into the band, you know, your band experience and everything. But what I like to do, if possible, is kind of start a little further back, you know, because I think a lot of people understand that you were instrumental in the Spartan Legion as well as IC Norcom's program. But leading up to that, I'm curious to learn more about just Mr. Fears early on, you know, as far as like where are you from originally?
I'm from Tuskegee, actually. That part of Tuskegee that was known as Tuskegee Institute. There was a community right outside of Tuskegee Institute, and we didn't even have numbers on our houses. You know, it was that rural.
Mm.
In fact, I even had a cow, and to this day I don't drink milk. But you can understand that if you knew my cow.
I know about cows, yes.
But yeah, so I always wanted to play. Always wanted to do something in music, and I have a dim view of getting up early on Sunday mornings and beating mama's pot tops on the hill till they come get me. It'd be 5, 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. That was my time because that was when the band, the Tuskegee Institute band, used to march. Everybody had to go to chapel in those days, and they would march there, and they would play, and I always wanted to be there. So we really got the chance to do that when I was in high school. I took some private lessons there under the director, and I got into the band when I was 9th grade. There were about 7 or 8 of us high school kids in the band at the time, and Captain Try was his name, and he didn't take any prisoners at all. And so he was really tight.
Yeah. And
so I learned discipline from him. And of course, my father, who's the master disciplinarian, on me especially.
Yeah. So as far as you mentioned discipline, so were you the only child, or did you have siblings growing up?
Yeah, I had a brother, but he came along 8 years later. They learned on me, so
you know,
hard.
I'm the oldest child. I know what you mean. We the guinea pigs, right?
Amen. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, so what year were you born?
1925.
There you go. Okay. So wow. So you've seen
right
so
on
many.
Tuskegee's campus, they had their own everything there.
Yeah.
So,
wow. So you've seen so many eras. That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know. So what was childhood like? I mean, 25. What was childhood like in the 20s, 30s?
In the 30s.
Well, yeah. Right.
Yeah. We had plenty to eat. We had a garden which I had to maintain. And when I got to be about 12, they got a cow because my brother liked milk, and I milked that cow till the cow up and died. I just got tired of me, and I was able to have a little more freedom after that. It died, I guess, when I was about a junior in high school. But all the time I had a cow. I had a cow from the time I was 12 till about 11.
Yeah.
Till I was about 15 or 16 when the cow up and died on me, and I didn't have that duty anymore. But I used to sell the buttermilk and that my nickname at Tuskegee, as far as the band was concerned, was Buttermilk. So, yeah.
That's fitting. That's fitting. Hey, somebody mentioned in the comments that you really, to be born 1925, you look really good, Chief.
Thank you.
Yeah,
The good
yeah.
Lord does it all. I don't do anything.
So the 20s, man. So the 20s, 30s. So what were some of the things going on around the world at that time that you can recall that was very impactful? Things that still stick with you today. That just, well, I'm thinking about just that time. I have no idea. A lot of us had no idea.
Well, in the 30s, Tuskegee was an oasis in the middle of the Alabama desert.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know anything about what was going on because we wouldn't, we had everything there. Except you had to go to Montgomery to buy clothes and things like that. But my mama did it all through the Scissor Robot catalog at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fit. They didn't care. Just, what do I didn't know shoes had lasts like A, B, C, and D. I didn't know anything about that until I got into the Navy.
Yeah.
So they said, what's your last? I said, huh?
Right. Because your mom took care of it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So thinking back to that time, I want to say World War I had already came and went. That was in the early 1900s. But I think World War II, I think it began. World War II ended in 1945. So you missed that. You didn't get drafted during that one.
I did.
You did?
Yes, I was drafted in 1944.
Wow. So you just got the cutoff.
I was fortunate enough to be drafted into the Navy, and they didn't have television in those days, and you couldn't play your radio. There was no radio in boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a platoon leader in the boot camp, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent for my clarinet because they didn't have a thing, downtown, you couldn't do anything but read or nothing like that. Television was not invented. There was no radio there.
Right.
So I would take my clarinet and go into the bathroom and practice. Just play because I like to play the clarinet. They heard me and ordered me to try out for the band.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm not that good, but that's an order. So when I went to try out for the band, they gave me a piece that I already knew. And I didn't have enough sense to tell the man I know this piece. And so I started playing it. He said, no, you've got to read it. And cocky as I was, I turned the music upside down. I had memorized. It was John Philip Sousa's The Thundering March. And so they sent me to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. They had a pre-flight school there. And Otto Graham was the very famous halfback at Northwestern at the time. And he'd been drafted into the Navy. And we played in the pre-flight school band. And it was I was one of the youngsters there. And when the war was over, they sent us to the Navy School of Music in Washington. And I took one saxophone lesson. They said, okay, you play the saxophone. And I went overseas to Okinawa. They had just turned it loose there because it was pretty rough over there at the time because the war was over in August and we were there in September. But other than that, it was a good thing to do.
Y'all got to keep this in perspective. Y'all watching this. So this was during a time when, men of the, early 20s were getting drafted into this war. But Chief saying that he auditioned for the Navy band. So you weren't actually, in combat. You were good enough to be in the band during a time of war.
Yes.
You look at it that way. You look at it that way because, a lot of people walked out there with a rifle in their hand. But, you auditioned and they said, no, you good enough to be in the band. That's insane.
Yeah, I was blessed to do that. And I learned a lot of things to do and a lot of things not to do because some of those guys are crazy. But
yeah, I was going to say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm through with that.
So I was going to say, so from the military, what do you think? How did that mold your character as a person? Just serving those years in the Navy.
Well, it just taught me. Of course, I had learned all that at home because my father was a disciplinarian, and I just played as well as you. In fact, I had a chance to audition for Count Basie when I was in school,
What?
and but I didn't do it because a teaching job came up, and I said, well, I better try this first. Because some of those guys, I knew a couple of guys there, and I didn't like the life too well, so I didn't want to live that life.
Wow. So
So
what year?
I went to New Orleans. Of course, I was stationed. My first job as a band director was in New Orleans, Clark High School. I stayed there for 3 semesters.
In New Orleans. So you went to school went to Tuskegee. You didn't go to Tuskegee University, but
No, they didn't have a music school. And I wanted to study music.
I was about to say because the story goes, Chief is he was a freshman in high school playing for the Tuskegee University band program. Y'all keep that in perspective. Um, a freshman. So I would assume that Tuskegee would have recruited you, but you said they didn't have a music program there, so that makes sense.
Well, I took private lessons. About 4 or 5 of us were in the band at the time.
Wow. So when you picked up the saxophone at what age?
I guess I was about 20. I just picked it up. That's all. And I took one lesson in the Navy School of Music, and they stamped that I was a proficient. So that's it. And I taught saxophone at Norfolk State, but I never really majored in it.
Got you. So as a freshman in high school, what instrument were you playing then? The clarinet?
Clarinet.
Okay. So you started out on clarinet. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tuskegee, you went there, and then it was time to go to college. So I know the answer to these questions, but where'd you go to college for your undergrad?
I went to Howard. Howard had I heard they had a great music school, and so I got accepted there, and I went there, and it was a great choice. They had really a great music school, and they gave me a job, and I was proficient enough on the clarinet to teach it, so they had a lot of freshman clarinet players, and I taught about 5 or 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me $75 a month. That was great.
Wow.
No, $15 a month. That's what it was.
That's good. That's good money, though. That's great money. Wow. So what made you so Howard? Any other schools you considered besides Howard back then, or was that you were sold on HU at the time?
Back then, Later on, when I was teaching here, I was in Norcom, and teachers didn't make much money. In fact, I used to be a longshoreman in the summer.
What?
Gotta make ends meet.
Yeah, to make ends meet.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't make much money, but I used to gig a lot, playing bands and things like that. So, in fact, I could have gone on the road. I'm glad I didn't.
I'm just trying to think. So Count Basie. So you're trying to say you had a chance to audition with him. What year was this again?
Basie.
Yeah.
It was around 1950. Because a couple of friends of mine went with Basie. Hughes. I think his first name was Charles. He was a trombone player. In fact, he led the Basie band after Basie passed. And Eddie Jones, his bass player. We were all of us were classmates.
Got you. So you were about 20
at Howard.
At Howard.
Yeah, I was in my early to mid 20s at the time.
I'm just trying to put the timeline together here. So you went to the Navy at what age?
18.
Okay, so you were
almost 19.
Straight out of high school, went to the Navy. You did 4 years there?
No, 2 years.
Just 2.
The war was over. So 2 years. I was in it 2 years and 2 months and 1 day.
Okay, so 2 years. So you were about 22, 23, and then what happened between?
Actually, I was 21 when I got out to Navy. I was a 21-year-old freshman at Howard.
Wow. So you did the college. So what was college life like in the 40s and 50s? Well, the 50s actually. What was college life back then?
Oh, it was the same as I think they're a little more liberal now than then. But I was just on the GI Bill, which they paid your tuition and $75 a month. And Howard would let veterans stay on campus, so we lived in town wherever we could. And I became a capper and lived in a capper house, and that helped a lot because that didn't cost but $15. It just kept it clean. And they had a ballroom on the second floor where they used to rent out. And one night I heard a whole lot of noise and down there because they were renting out the parties and nightclubs. And I went down there and that was Red Fox.
Where?
So I took the saxophone, came and sat in with him for a while and then went back to the bed.
And he came to Howard?
Red Fox was just as crazy than his.
Red Fox. Wow. So you played Kappa, and this was in the 50s. So Greek life, Greek life is something that's still very heralded and very, it's a big deal in 2020. But what was it like during that time?
It was about the same. We had fun, but it didn't. We were more about getting ahead. We didn't do a lot of things that they do now. I don't think, because this is right after the war, and everybody was trying. Most of us were veterans. A lot of us were veterans, and we wanted to get ahead and get set. But the Greek life was pretty good for us because we got a chance to live in a house for $15 a month, and all we had to do was keep it clean. So,
that's a good deal.
That's a good deal. We had a good deal there because I wasn't getting anything, and my father wasn't sending me any money because he didn't think I needed it, and I was too proud to ask for it. So,
I understand. Yep.
So I ended up working in the post office during Christmas. I never came home and all that kind of thing. But I was grown. I was a grown man, so I didn't think I needed to do that.
So your family was still back home in Tuskegee?
Yes.
Okay. So you're at Howard now. So were you in the band program at Howard while you were there?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So who do you remember who the band director was at that time?
Bernard Mason.
Bernard Mason.
His name was Bernard Mason.
Bernard.
He was the one that started. He was with A&T's band. And when the war started, they chose a 45-piece band, mostly out of a lot of them were from A&T because it was in North Carolina. It was on the University of North Carolina campus, and he was supposed to have been the chief, but he had high blood pressure and he didn't do that. He couldn't be in there, so he transferred and went to Howard. So when I came to Howard, it might have been his first or second year there.
Got you. So he came from A&T. So was he the influence that made you want to become a band director, or when did that vision hit you?
He was one of them. He was a very brilliant man. He was one of them. He was a great violinist and he knew all the instruments, but he wasn't primarily a band.
Wow. So who were some of your other earlier influences that kind of shaped you as a musician and as a band director?
It's just something I wanted to do. And, Captain Dry was my first one. That was the fellow at Tuskegee. He was a World War I veteran. And I think he was in Jim Europe's 366 band in World War I. But he was an officer there in the Army. And in fact, in World War II, we didn't have him but a few years at Tuskegee Institute because he had to go back into the Army. They commissioned him a captain, and he was led a band somewhere. I think it was Tuskegee Air Base, but I don't know. They let him move to California. You can look him up. He has a very interesting life.
Yeah. It's influence is something. It's like it hits you. This band bug hits you at some point in life. It's hard for me to recall.
It was always there.
It was always there for you, huh? Because you said you out there beating on pots and pans on the hill, like you said. And it's ironic because you said Ashlyn wants to play the drums. You ain't let her play the drums.
I played. No, Ashley. I don't think even my son didn't want to play either. He saw me. No, I'm not going to do
that. Yeah. So fast forward. So you graduate from Howard. Your first job out of college, or first band directing job, was at IC Norcom?
No. It's in New Orleans.
You're right. You went to New Orleans. You did 2 years there.
J.S. Clark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I spent a year and a half at J.S. Clark.
Okay.
I graduated in December, went to Clark in January, and they made me go to summer school because I didn't have a liberal arts degree. I had a straight music degree, and so they wanted me to take math and history and all of that. And I did that 1 year, but I was going to keep doing that. So I left, and I ended up at IC Norcom.
Mm-hmm.
I had an uncle that worked in the government printing office, and they had, and this is true, they had a book with every high school in the country in it that they published.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to get too far away from Ohio because my wife was there, and I had a child there. It was just born, and I didn't want to go. I was supposed to go to Daniel, Florida.
Ooh.
And I didn't go. I told the man I couldn't go. He cussed me out. That's all right. And I opened the book to Virginia because that was close enough to Ohio. You know, I could get there in a day, less than a day. And I put my finger down on and looked at it. It was IC Norcom High School, Portsmouth, Virginia. I wrote them. And it just so happened that they were ready for a band director. And that's how I got there.
Look at that. That's fate right there.
Yeah, that was that. Well, I don't. Some people call it luck. I call it the Lord, but it was all the same.
Yeah. So what was the program like before you got there at IC Norcom?
They could play. There weren't that many of them. They played very well for high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to convince them, you know, that thing. And I know one boy said, you know, Mr. Bill, I can beat you. Beat me what? I can just beat you. You want to slap box me? They should, you know, you don't use your fist, you use your fingers. So we went to the band, we slapped each other around. And after that, the band was mine.
Hold on, that was a student. A student said this, or this was another teacher?
He was a student.
Oh no! What? Yeah, you handled that the right way, Mr. Fierce.
This hotshot boy from New Orleans, he think he gonna lead us, you know. Well, I had the same trouble in the Norfolk State, so not fighting, but I had a hard time with them. So at first, that is a story within itself.
So what are some of your best memories from Norcom?
Well, we got Norcom to be, he got to be a very, very good band, very, very, very good band, and we won superior ratings for about I don't know how many years, but we in concert we had a great marching band too, and we did the Indianapolis 500 parade, we did the Cherry Blossom parade, we got third place out of 75 bands.
Wow.
We did the Baltimore Colts, Minneapolis when the president was assassinated. The band backed out, and they called us, and we did the show that time.
Oh yeah.
And when President Kennedy was assassinated, so we got to be doing that. So the band was a very good band, but the integration came and they transferred me to a new school, Manor High School, and the kids were just great there too. There's very smart kids I had there, and they were good too. But I didn't stay there. But a couple of years before, somebody called me, a band director in another town called me and said, "Congratulations." I said, "What you congratulate?" He said, "You know, you're the new director of Norfolk State." I said, "Why?" I said, "Dr. Keel is a fine man. He's not going anywhere." He said, "He is. He's going somewhere else and work on his doctorate or something like that." In fact, he ended up as the head of the music department at University of Tennessee and some others. There's one in Pittsburgh. I can't remember the name of it. But anyhow, I get this straight. I got the job, went over there, and of course the kids looked at me and say, "Who are you?" I said, "A hotshot band director, high school band director. We don't like you." So I had quite a hard time there.
What?
The first year and first 2 years, I had a big problems. They didn't like what I was doing because I was trying to change things so we would like everybody else. And they gave me a fit. And Shaw University came up there and lit us up
Who? Shaw?
because most of Shaw's kids, Shaw,
Mhm.
because what happened was most of Shaw's kids were my kids that I had taught at Lawcombe Manor, and they knew me. They knew how to get to me, and they wore us out. And I thought I was going to lose my job. And the kids would walk around. People walk around there 5 years. These were students.
Nah.
And the next week we had Grambling in New York. We were supposed to play Grambling in New York, and the promoter called me and said, Mr. Fears said, you are the host band, and you're supposed to come on last. But we can't let you come on last because nobody ever heard of you. So,
What?
so Grambling will come on last and you'll be first. And I told the band that they were all hot. Meanwhile, one of the kids who had just graduated, they called him Scope because he had big glasses. He came up there and said, Mr. Fitz, I have something you might could use. I had just done it for Booker T. Washington School there. And it was the Ohio Players. Fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, what it was, they had this big record. And on the record, they had this young lady in leotard with a fire extinguisher hat all over the place. And I went and got all that. The fire department gave me a hat and all that. And we put the girl out there. We put a box on the field. She was in the box. And when the band made a circle around here, the band burst away. She came out in that box. And let me tell you something. The crowd went crazy.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
And we got over on Grambling on that one. So that's what's made us.
Yeah.
And then they started listening to me.
And you know what? I mean, I know it sounds, just cheesy, but you think out of the box anyway. She jumped out the box. You are out of the box kind of person, man. So you said you got to Norfolk State and they didn't accept your ideologies and what you were bringing. So what was the band program like at Norfolk State before you got there? Like,
it was a good band, but I wanted something different. I wanted something that looked like me. And so that I want, so that I had a little time with them. But after that, we didn't have no more problems. And the band did quite a few things. We used to play for Sweet Pea Whitaker's fights, things like that.
Yeah.
The band and we had our halftime shows were pretty good. If you remember Karen Briggs, the violinist who used to play with Yanni.
I know Yanni. Yanni.
Yeah, well, she was the girl in red.
Okay.
Who played the black girl in red, but she was from our band, from Norfolk State. We gave her first chance because she did a halftime show for us. And then we had Earl Bynum. Right now, he's very well known. He won the 2014 Stellar Award. He sang for us. And then we played the Bicentennial Parade in Philadelphia. And we played quite a few of them. Indianapolis, that was the other band. So we did a lot of good things then, and the band became quite good, and they still are.
Yeah. So I mean, back then, you get to Norfolk State. When were you introduced to Mr. Paul Adams?
Well, Paul worked with me at Norfolk State. We came at the same time.
Same time, same year.
Yeah, and he's the one that named me chief.
What's the story behind that? Behind the word chief?
I don't know. Paul is a man with many ideas, and we had a lot of guys that had ideas. We had Mr. Staten, our announcer, and he really he could put you in your place so very well, and do it with a smile, and he spoke the King's English. And he was our announcer. I still think he's one of the top ones there, if not the top one.
Wow. So this dream team of this staff, you didn't form this team. It just seemed like everybody came together. It was just meant to be. So you didn't hire them. You didn't recruit these people. They just kind of applied, and this is the dream team that came together just on its own?
Students at the time at the school, but they weren't band people. She was a violinist, and everybody is a gospel singer, well known. In fact, he won the Stella Award a couple of years ago.
Yeah, speaking of Stella, a question came in. So Stella is often mentioned in the Norfolk State halftime shows. Who is Stella?
I'm glad you called it. Yeah. Well, that was the gentleman I was talking about. And he built everything around Stella.
Mm-hmm.
And and his whole son would say, Stella did this, or Stella did that. And to this day, we don't know who Stella is, and he still won't tell me who Stella is. So
she mean a lot to him, it sounds like.
His name is Staten, Mr. Staten. Everybody knows him. They call him the Voice. His nickname is the Voice.
The Voice.
And
gotcha.
he was the best of the kind. The only man I ever seen even come anywhere near him is Florida A&M's announcer.
So you mentioned earlier, we spoke, I want to say earlier today, and you mentioned Dr. Keelan. Well, what was his role on the staff? Dr. Kenneth Keelan?
He was the band director. He was the band director before me.
Oh, before. Okay, so you took over after
Yeah.
Dr. Keelan. Gotcha.
I just took his place when he went on to bigger and better things. That's all.
Okay, so that makes sense now. All right, so then, it's just more of a general question. What were some of the keys to success? I mean, you had a long run there, at IC Norfolk first and then Norfolk State. What were some of your keys to success for running a successful band program?
Well, you just work hard. You try to outthink. You got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And you got to pray a lot, and it gets done. And then when they buy into the program,
mm-hmm.
That's when it's good, because we use a very hard march. These kids drive their feet into the ground
mm-hmm.
and lift them higher than any band that you're going to see. They do that. They still do that now. Mm-hmm. And it took a mind over matter, and they are very proud of the way they march. So now,
yeah,
and then too.
So the mascot is obviously the Spartan at Norfolk State, but the Spartan Legion, just the theme, obviously you're the founder of that.
Yeah, the Legion, what it was, when we played Shaw and they beat us up so bad, some signs came around the campus 5 years. So I didn't want to, and they called it the Crawling Spartans. That came up too. So I changed it to the Spartan Legion because I saw, I think it was the robe. It was with one of these movies that come around Christmas. There, I like that. So they call themselves the Roman Legion. So I changed that to the Spartan Legion.
Hey, sir.
That's how they got their name now.
Hey, Mr. Fears, can you ask Ashlyn, are you on Wi-Fi or on data right now, as far as your connection?
It should be on Wi-Fi. Is the connection bad?
Yeah, it's breaking up, and it's kind of freezing every so often. I want to make sure I capture. It's on Wi-Fi, you said?
Yes. Let me see. I'm gonna pause it really quick and check for you guys.
Awesome interview, you guys. Look, everybody watching, this is phenomenal. I can't believe that we have Mr. Fears on. Any questions you have, I need you to do me a favor. I can't keep up with them in the YouTube comments, but send me your questions on Instagram at MeetMeOn50, okay? And I'll check them at the end. We're going to go through a couple of the questions for Mr. Fears. So send your questions to at MeetMeOn50 on Instagram. I'm going to ask about it, Kev. That's a good question, Larnell. Absolutely.
Okay, we're back on now.
Okay.
How are we looking?
Okay, here
I
we
guess you
go.
can see us now.
Yeah, I think that's
She
good.
something, so
Okay. Okay.
Better?
So I cut you off because I know you were telling the story of the Spartan Legion and it kind of broke up. So can we go back to okay? So Shaw University came. It was bad news for the band. What happened at that point? You said this is when you saw signs going up, and what happened at that
well,
point?
well, the next that Monday morning, I saw signs say 5 fears,
Fire
and
fears.
and we were the marching Spartans. They had called us crawling Spartans, and then we was the Norfolk State University marching Spartans, and so I changed the name to the Spartan Legion because I saw a movie, the Robe, back in the day. It was a Christian. It was a movie about. It comes on every Christmas now, and the Romans would come up there and do that, with the helmets and all. So that's where I got the idea of the Roman helmets and all that for part of the band that we were using. So I don't know. Had you? How far back did we need to go? I can tell you. I don't know what was missing.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. So, Larnell, I forget his last name, but he asked a question about bringing core style.
Okay.
Yeah. So bringing core style drumming. Well, just generally, you're one of the few HBCU band programs that incorporate core style into, your style of marching.
Really glad that you asked that too. Really glad that you asked that
So
because
how?
we had a gentleman that was in the Marine Corps Drumming Bugle Corps, and he came to school here, and we were talking. And he said, I said I would like to get something else besides that, all them just beating the drums. He said get tonal drums, and that's how we were able to do that, to get tonal drums. And he's Lord, he's gonna kill me because my mind. He's a good friend of mine, and I can't bring his name up. Excellent, say his name right quick, and I know it, but I can't. Right here, give me a fit. But
Okay.
he taught that to us, and he brought those tonal drums in there, and that's why we began to stop using tenor drums and start using drums that had different tones to them, and that's where the drum and bugle called flavor, but we're not the drum and bugle corps band, but we did use that type of drums. We were the first HBCU to use that thing. A lot of them use those drums now, but they don't use the style that we use.
Wow. So I know I was reading through your, I guess, induction into the Hall of Fame at Norfolk State, and they mentioned how your band program at the time, the Spartan Legion, had a lot to do with, increasing the attendance at the football game. So how crucial do you think the band programs are to football in general on the HBCU platform?
Well, people go to see the bands. That's true. And that's everywhere because there's always a fight. Always who's better than who else, who's going to do better than others. Yeah, they come to see the bands all right.
Yeah.
They didn't particularly realize that at Norfolk State at first, because we were kind of Johnny come lately. Anyhow, the school wasn't started till 1935, and they were just getting into things, So we were smaller. They used to call it Little State, meaning Little Virginia State, and then it became Norfolk State. It's now it's larger, much larger.
Yeah. They used to call you Little State. Now it's reverse. It's reverse. So. Get more into, we talked about this earlier. Song title, Talking Out the Side of Your Neck.
Yes.
You good? So, fall 1983, I'm trying to rewind back, make sure I'm telling the story the right way. Fall 1983, game was held. Hampton University is said to have stole a field show from Norfolk, or stole a concept. Okay, so is this true? First of all, what happened with that in 1983?
It's true. Yeah.
Okay.
We had a show. We had this show down, And we got to go on the field. They came on the field first and did our exact show, everything. And from then on, we got them back though. But from then on, when we played Hampton, we rehearsed away from. We didn't rehearse on the campus. We'd have a rendezvous on some high school, one of the different high school every time we played. Practice. We practiced somebody's high school field because they would come in and check us out. But they took our whole show.
That's
at the time.
Crazy. So 1983. Let everybody in the comments just put this timeline together. So fast forward to January 1984. Cameo releases a song called "Talking Out the Side of Your Neck." It says bandsman, his name was Anthony Tony Anderson. He is the arranger. He wrote "Talking Out the Side of Your Neck," making Norfolk the first band to play it in 1984. What'd you think about that when you heard that? How the crowd react to it, and what'd you think about that song?
They still playing it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's something about that song that all of the HBCUs played, and as far as we know, we were the first. I think Texas Southern did it around the same time, but they didn't keep it up. We played all the time. I mean, it's just it's been kept up. And Tony wrote that, yes.
I was reading that before Neck though, Warren's Jam was the theme. So who wrote Warren's theme?
We still do Warren's Jam. We still do some of Warren's stuff. Warren was a high school kid that came out of Washington D.C. I forgot his high school. I do remember it, but it doesn't come to me. Mm-hmm. And the boy came to school writing, and he was just something. So a lot of these things we did. He wrote this song. He arranged for us, yes. And the message in our music, it's one of our segue songs we played. We still played, and he was the one that arranged it. And that was back when I first came up there. That was back in 76 or 77, 78, somewhere when he wrote that, whatever that was.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's awesome. So
yeah.
Then
what's the master sergeant's name? In DC, the boy whose picture we got with the Queen.
Right here?
Talking about
this guy?
Yeah.
You can show him the picture.
No, that's
I'm trying to remember. Miles Overton.
Okay, what I was trying to do was to tell you who's changed the. I don't want him to see this.
Oh.
Who changed our drums? His name is Miles Overton.
Ah, okay.
And he is it. He's still one. And I have a picture of him with the Queen of England when he was a sergeant major. Well, not then, he was a master sergeant then, but he's turned out with the United States Army Band. What did I do? How did I get them? Just
show them. You can like that.
Oh yeah.
Miles right there.
Y'all see that?
And he's the one that came and changed my drum section around. And that's the Queen of England right there.
That's amazing. Amazing photo right there too. He was in the Marine Corps. I see the uniform. I'm a former Marine as well, Chief. So I see that.
He was in the Army Band, United States Army Band.
That like dress blues.
And he's a sergeant major. This is how it should go.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was a dress blues. Yes.
Got you. Wow. So what's gonna just about to?
I could.
What's that?
No, I hate that. You get to talking, you can't remember. I'm 94 years old. Sometimes my memory leaves me.
Nah, this is your memory is crystal clear. So Mr. Adams, he's very, obviously he's an awesome arranger. I'm gonna hopefully have him on the show soon. But one of the songs that he's very known for, and the trademark of the Spartan Legion is "Behold, Behold." So what was your first impression? He wrote this. Let me ask you this: when was the song first written?
I'm not sure about if this was the first. He wrote it, but I'm not sure when. They do a pregame show, and the band marches around the field. Course, that's the only time they do a court-style march. Mm-hmm. When they do "Behold, the Green and Gold." Right. And he's added some more to it. I remember when they started a alumni band, and they did. I didn't know anything about it. They hid it from me, and that's that was the most awesome thing I think I'd ever seen was that band, the current band and the alumni band came by playing "Behold the Green and Gold." It was really that he that he was the one that wrote it. Paul
Wow.
is something else. Let me tell you, he's one of the most brilliant men I ever known.
He is. He is very intelligent. He's very sharp too. I can't wait to have him on the show soon as well. So what the 2020. Well, let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on editions of the Legion? Since you retired, you retired in '91. Mr. Alzy Walker took over, and then
Yeah, Elsa. Yeah, Elsa was. In fact, Elsa was in the band.
okay,
He was in that first band that I was telling you about. Then went to Grambling and all that. And he went out to Nebraska and got his master's, and I brought him on as my assistant because he knew how to do some things that I didn't know how to do. We did some course style turns on one of the shows, some of the shows, and he knew that, and we had a great time together. Yeah.
I think one thing that if you're watching this show right now and you're a band director or you have any ensemble you're trying to put together, one thing that Mr. Fears did that I wanted to touch on is that just because you're in charge of a program, you don't have to do everything. You want to put people around you who are good at different things. You have someone good at arranging, someone good at staff, relations, and whatever it may be. But Mr. Fears knew how to delegate, it sounds like. And I know a lot of band directors who struggle because they try to do everything. You can't do everything yourself. It's impossible. It's impossible. I think a question just came in. Well, what are we going to do, Mr. Fears, at the end? We're going to have a few questions from the viewers.
Yes.
Okay. So I was going to ask, what are some of your thoughts on the current edition of the Spartan Legion? Comparing it to your edition when you were band director.
Oh, I like them. I like them. They are bigger than we were, and they got a real good clean sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I like them very, very well. And they did I may be wrong. They did something for a German group that went all over the country. I can't quite get that yet.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, that was outstanding. That was last year.
You might have seen it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was outstanding last year. They did a
Yeah.
whole music video with put in the comments. Remember the name of the group if you're watching this, y'all. What was the name of the group that the video was of? But
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. It was from Germany.
yeah.
It went worldwide.
Well, the Legion went worldwide. I was reading some of the comments and some of the videos, and you'll see different comments in different languages. I couldn't even understand it. But it tells me that across the water.
Oh, yeah.
The Legion is very popular over there.
Well, I think one of their best kept secrets is Stephanie Saunders, their assistant band director. She can play anything, plays symphony, plays jazz, plays all, and she was the one in charge of those rehearsals. Mm-hmm. And so give her props because and I hope they'll be able to keep her.
Yeah. The comments are saying she is excellent. Yep, Miss Sanders is the very, very excellent. So the group is called Justice. That's the name of the group that.
Justice, yes. That's
Justice.
what it is, yes.
Mm-hmm. So if you have any words of wisdom to pass, if you have to pass any words of wisdom to the current band, especially the student leaders, what would it be?
Well, study your craft, and just do the best you can. That's all. Just do it. There's nothing I can say. Just don't let anything get in your way. If you feel that is what you are and what you can do, do it. Things are gonna be thrown in your path. You're gonna have all kind of obstacles. Believe me, but you can do it. You can do it, and if it's for you, you'll get it. Just like how I got to Norfolk. That was was something that I didn't have to do. It looked like I was assigned. It looked like I was assigned by the man above to do that. And I still think that I was sent there. And the same thing with Manor High School, which is the one I did between that. That was a very smart band there. And in fact, one of the guys who Lord, I hope I remember. Got my name. Sometimes I don't do names because I forget.
Yeah.
But let's see if I wrote it down somewhere. One of the guys who was in the band at Manor and at Norfolk State was a major general. He just retired a couple of years ago. He was a drummer.
It seems like, just different occurrences throughout your life. You were put in circumstances that it had to come from a higher up. I mean, going to the military and being drafted, but being in the band, your encounter with Count Basie, the positions, Basie. I keep saying it wrong, Basie, and the opportunities at IC Norcom and Norfolk, how they just seem to open at the right time for you. It's just, some of these things just really you can't explain. It's just something we can explain.
You and I agree.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. I'm not too much.
Yeah. So outside of the Spartan Legion, who are some of the other band programs that you like you enjoyed seeing in your day?
Well, I don't see that many. I like Florida.
Florida.
I like the things they do. I like their sound. They have that concept that we have about sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I like them. I like Bethune too. I like them both very well. And I like Ohio State. Kevin's the best. I like them. And I just like what they do and how they do it and how well they do it and how trained they are. Every hair in place, every foot in place, every arm in place, everything. It's like it's just like they're one person.
It sounds like you described
my three favorite bands. How's that? Four, including Norfolk State.
That's four. Yeah. That sounds like you're describing the Legion, though. You mentioned I think that if you had to describe the Spartan Legion, it's definitely precision. And you mentioned everything about Ohio State.
I tried to do that.
So yeah. I think that attention to detail is what sets the Legion apart from other band programs.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right. So going back to 1974, which was your first year at Norfolk as a director, I think I read this right during my research, but Dr. John Hodge became band director for the A&T band.
Oh yeah.
That same year, ironically. So, did you have a close relationship with Dr. Hodge?
Oh, we just hit it off. We were good friends. We just became friends. I know after I retired, he brought A&T up to Norfolk State, and I was walking past him, and he saw me, and he didn't have me come over there and direct him.
To direct who? Direct the A&T band?
Our own band room.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So.
Hodges came after the one they had before, which Carson. And he's after Walter Carson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Carson was after. Okay. I'll leave that alone.
All right.
So after the guy who was at Norfolk at Howard with me, Bernard Mason. Yeah, who it is.
Gotcha. All right, so give me one of your most fondest memories from Norfolk State with the Spartan Legion.
Well, I have a lot of them. I think you talking about marching. Or you talking about concert?
Oh, how about this? Just in one for marching band, and then another one just in general. It can be concert, it can be jazz.
Well, the thing that saved us was playing Grambling in New York. That's my fondest. That's my fondest memory. because it saved my job.
Oh yeah.
I think. But there were so many of them. There were so many of them that we did. My last show was a favorite of mine. We did it here. Then in fact, there's a movie on, not a movie, but what's called them on it
YouTube.
Somewhere.
Uh-huh.
We played it at Howard, and we played. That's when Earl Bonham did this song. Oh God, I can't remember this thing. He sang some song with us that was very, very popular. And we put it last, and the crowd erupted just so much that they pulled the plug. They pulled the plug on this last note.
Well,
but
I
maybe somebody who's there will tell you, because right when I'm talking, I can't remember anything. But we did it at Howard. We did it at Norfolk State, then we did it at Howard, and it was my last show. And we broke the band up into 4 groups, 4 parts, and each one had a different dance going to the other one. It was ready, and then we put him on last, and he tore the place down because it was a very popular gospel song he sang. I forgot what it was.
They say it was called "Say Amen."
That's right. That's it. That's the show.
That's what they said.
That's the show. That is probably my favorite show. It's my last show.
I have an outstanding clip queued up right here that you should really enjoy as well. This is Mr. Fears playing saxophone along with Norfolk. You play saxophone, and this is to the song "My" right here. So let's go ahead and go into that real quick, Mr. Fears, and let's check this clip out. Outstanding, outstanding. So do you remember that show?
I remember that show. In fact, my assistant Rogers Brown was he has quite a few bands around here. And he does well. He was conducting that. He's a Michigan man like me.
Yeah, you got into it at the end right there. That was you were on soprano sax,
I
huh?
couldn't tell too well. Yeah, we didn't quite have the equipment that they got now.
No, y'all got your point across though, absolutely. And the crowd was into it. Has the crowd always been big supporters of the Legion?
Oh yeah, and they'd wait to the very last, and when Mr. State would say, "Behold," and 10,000 people would holler, say, "The green and gold." We should intimidate people with that kind of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, oh yeah.
He was a master of that.
So I wanted to kind of briefly touch on this right here, but well, not even briefly. We can discuss it at nauseum. But the Emery L. Fears Boys Academy. What can you say about the school? It's named after you. What can you tell us about the school?
Well, Mrs. What's his name? What's his name? Huh?
Steven?
Yeah, one of my former students, Stephen Screw, started a school. It first was named after the biologist, Mr. Best, or something like that. I don't remember. And he wanted to name the school after me, and I wouldn't let him for a while. But he got so persistent that because I didn't see why he wanted to name them, but he did have the school, and he was the everything, the head man, the janitor, and everything else. And a couple of those kids are not in college, but people don't have that kind of money unless he's on gets the money from somewhere. So he had to close. It's been closed now for quite a while. But I know we do have a couple of them. There was the all boys school, and a couple of them graduated from college.
Gotcha.
You know one, don't you? Yeah.
Hey, sir, if you have
Yeah, but he still got that dream.
Hey, sir, if you have a few minutes, I wanted to get into some questions from some of the viewers. They sent a good list of them. We're not going to be able to read all of them because I got about 30 of them that came in so far. So I'll try to read some of them. Let's see here. Okay, actually, Linwood Lyons has a question here. He says,
Oh, Linwood?
yeah. He said, why did you decide to have two different flag squads, the Silkettes and the Spartan Guards?
Well, nobody had the Silkettes were the first flags we had because we had late women as flags at that time and still do, and so we had that. But the Spartan Guard was. We got them to guard the dancing girls, and so the dancers that we had, hot ice, and their main thing was to guard hot ice, and they guarded them. They guarded them well. They wouldn't let nobody get in the band past the band. I remember one lady band director tried to go through the band, and a boy named Clink Scales, he passed away now. He wouldn't let nobody do anything. He would hardly let me go through the band. So, but they loved their jobs, and they were very good, and they still are. Their main purpose is to guard those girls in front of the hot ice.
Did something happen to?
Hot ice.
Did something happen to? That caused the need for a guard? Like, was it just something that you wanted to make sure?
Oh yeah, people. There's the girls out there. People want to run out and hug them, want to pinch them.
Yeah.
The girls need some guarding because when they come out there, when they march, and so we have a Spartan Guard to keep people away from running in the band, pulling on them.
Yeah.
They had a purpose.
They
have a purpose.
A question came in asking about your statement. I guess this is one of your mantras. Crush a fly with a sledgehammer. What does that mean to you?
Exactly. Give it all you've got. I don't care if it's a small band, a big band, or no band. You just crush a fly. What you do? Hit a fly with a sledgehammer. he won't be a flyer anymore.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it too. All right, we're gonna read through a few more. What we maybe can do, if there's a lot more, I can create a post on Facebook and I'll put all the questions there. That way, at your leisure, if you wanted to answer some more questions later on Facebook, then we can respond there. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay, because I know a lot of people have, they're very interested in getting some questions in, and it's just so many of them. We read through a few more here. Who came up with the? Okay, we already talked about the Silkettes already. It's another question about the Silkettes came in. DJ Terry Butler says, "Do you remember the third trumpets from the late '80s, early '90s?"
Sure do. I remember him from something else too. We were playing a certain band in North Carolina, and they were tearing the streets up. And they had those horses, the wooden horses, block that thing, and people went crazy and started fighting us because we had put a hurting on the band a little bit. And next thing I know, Terry came around there, and Terry's not a big guy. Come on, and Terry said, "I'll take you to the book." He had no tip about it too, but he's a great guy. Yeah.
So the name Hot Ice, how'd you come up with it and why? For the dancers.
Well, we had to have a name, and that purpose was to dance, but not to be touched. So that's what we say. Hot ice. Look, but don't touch. That's where we got that from.
That's clever.
I got that from because I named them, yeah.
Wow. What was your favorite? He talked about his favorite show was his last one, so we touched on that one. Another question about Hot Ice. That's a popular question. Let's see. Oh wow, this is going to be a controversial one. If you had to pick one, what was the Legion's biggest rival during your era?
I would say it was Hampton. Hampton was our biggest rival because they stole our show, and the kids just didn't like them after that. But the next show we did the next year, the fellow who did this moon dance was that the moonwalk. Michael Jackson had the moonwalk, and that came out on a Sunday night, and we were rehearsing the next Monday, and I said, "Can anybody do the moonwalk?" Because it just started,
Yeah.
And nobody said nothing, and a voice came out, and always the crowd watching. Said, "I can do it." So we found a piece of plywood board, and put it out there, and that boy moonwalked, and we used that on Hampton the next year, the next game. And that was our revenge.
Got him back.
And the kid, I don't know who the kid was. He was just a kid, wasn't it? We talked to his mom and said, "We'll take care of him. Let him come out to the moonwalk."
Yeah, that's one of the more popular groups. Well, all of the sections have their credibility, but the $1 Million Funk Squad. Did you name them that? The drums?
Oh, I didn't name him that. Eric Jackson, who is now he was a neighbor of mine back in Portsmouth. He's now handles all of the this type of thing, camera stuff.
Camera.
Yeah, he does all that stuff for Virginia State.
Okay.
He was the one that named it. He came there along with the fellow I was telling you who was the drummer came on later. The guy who's the major general who I should have written it down because I was thinking about it. But he was in my Manor band.
Wow.
And he came over in my second year. So he was somebody that was for the program all the time. And he named them the $1 Million Funk Squad.
Got you. That makes sense. So what we're going to do, Chief, I'm going to stop with the questions for now. And like I said, I'm going to make a post on Facebook. If you're not following me on Facebook, add me Eddie Evans, and I'm going to create a post. Any questions you have, I will put them there. And then I'll tag Chief, and at his leisure, he'll be able to get in there and answer your questions. If he feels like it feels up to it. I don't want to keep you on too long, Chief. I'll just end it. You know, we're going to end it out with another video, but I'll ask you, you know, in general, what are you most proud of?
The accomplishments of my students. They get out and get good jobs. They get out and show that they can do. And so I just want them to be. I just want them to be, you know, able to work and able to make a living, and a good living for that, and use their brains because those kids are smart. A lot of those kids are just really smart.
Mm-hmm.
And never got a chance because being smart sometimes wasn't the thing to be.
Yeah.
In some schools, you know, you're smart, they look down on you. But of course, if you're smart, you get the good jobs.
Right.
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 Ashley.
Did Ashlyn go to Norfolk State too? Your daughter?
No, she went to
George Mason.
George
Yeah,
Mason.
a different green and gold.
Green and gold.
And they got green and gold too, but
Yeah.
she's working from home right now, but she works does something in the Pentagon and in the
Air Force Base.
Andrews Air Force Base for a company.
Gotcha.
She
Okay.
does pretty well. And one day she's gonna pay me the money she owes me.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Live, so.
Go ahead, pay that. Go ahead, pay him, Ashley. Okay. Hey, sir, I've already thanked you so many times. I want to thank you again. This has been an awesome experience for me. I'm sure everybody watching has been just as privileged as I am. You've done so many amazing things in your life. You know, in the band world, it seems like just in general, just learning your story. You've done some great things. You have people around you that just speak highly of you. So they always say, you know, people around you will tell your story for you, and you have plenty of those. So I want to say thank you again. And any questions for me at all? You know, I love to jump in there if you have any questions for me. Anything at all?
No, I just ran into this. Must have been 2-3 weeks ago. I first saw Meet Me on the 50.
Yes,
And
sir.
I've been following you along. It must be about a month or so I've been following you on what you're doing.
I'm trying to keep it going, sir. And I when he told me you follow me, I was taken back because I had no idea that you were aware of who I was. So that definitely humbles me a lot when I heard that. I'm going just knowing that you watch. I gotta continue grinding it out now. Keep doing what I'm doing. So this technology thing, I know
Well,
it seemed complicated at first, but we got it going, right?
Well, my daughter got it on. I am a klutz with this stuff. I start sweating bullets, and she just sit down, just sit down.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know how to do this thing. And they had Model T when I was a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know even how to do this stuff. So
Yeah, this is awesome
and
though.
I get really nervous fooling with it. I really do. And you say send this, and what am I gonna do when he sends what? You know, she said sit down. So
Thank you, Ashlyn.
so my daughter,
I didn't say it like that.
yes, she did too.
It was a lot
You
nicer.
didn't say that.
Wow, man. So thank you again, Chief. So I'm going to close out with a symphonic.
Thank you.
No problem. And this has been awesome. This is definitely something that I'm going to look back on, for the rest of my life. This is definitely something that I had no idea I'll be doing one day. But thank you. I'm going to close out with a symphonic piece. You conducted this, I want to say, in 2014, 2013. So this is Professor Emery Chief Fears 2013, y'all. This is Meet Me on the 50. This has been the Director's Corner. Legendary edition of it. This has been a very exclusive interview right here. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you again, Ashley.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay. You guys have a good evening.
You too.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna hear this.
I'm going to leave you on so we can watch it, though. I want you to watch the clip, sir. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, you watch. It'll be on. You just sit.
I remember that, but I forgot what the song was.
Amazing, amazing right there, sir. So thank you again. Pleasure's been mine, sir.
Your pleasure and mine.
Absolutely no. Please keep in touch. I definitely will do the same. And
I
yeah,
will.
be blessed, sir.
Yes, sir. You too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I know you will.
Thank you, sir.
Come on, say something.
Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Hey, thank you again, Ashley. All right, we out of here, everybody. This has been Meet Me on the 50. This has been
Goodbye, Chief.
the legendary Emery L. Fears. Signing off.
Signing off.
Yes, sir.